Carnival's charging $1,000 for what? Plus, with hurricane season fast approaching, the National Hurricane Center is abruptly changing the way they warn us ahead of these major natural disasters, and it's going to affect the cruise lines and the decisions they make. We're going to talk about it next. Let's roll the intro. Welcome to the Midships channel. I'm your Captain Corey, and thank you so much for stopping by the channel today. And wow, let's get things started off with a massive thank you from me to all of you for the outpouring of support throughout my surgery that I had a few days ago. I'm recovering a little bit more every day, and I'm finally to the point where I can sit up and at least record a video. Fortunately, there have been no complications up to now, but I'm still in quite a large amount of pain. I've got a 5-inch incision that runs straight up and down on this side of my back. And luckily, I am recovered enough to deliver that sweet, sweet cruise news. We're going to start by talking about Carnival Cruise Line. They are drastically increasing prices for rental items at their private beach resort. And a lot of these price increases have to do with their cabanas and their villa rentals that they have available at their private islands. And boy, if you just rewind the clock like a year, the cabana rental started at $360. So if you would have booked one, for instance, during the very first Midships group cruise, when that cruise became available, you'd have paid $360 for this cabana. Fast forward to today, that same cabana is now $700, an almost 100% increase just to sit your happy behind in the same half a shed that you can buy at Lowe's or Home Depot for a few hours on a beach. I don't know exactly the logistics behind running one of these cabanas for Carnival, but I can't imagine that they suddenly cost the line twice as much to operate the same painted stick hut that's been sitting on those beaches for a decade now. I can't imagine Carnival's costs have really truly doubled for their guests who are already paying thousands of dollars to be on one of their ships and at their private islands, who already now have to pay for a drink package plus buy drinks separately on their island because, well, we can't figure out how to make a drink package work on an island that only works on a ship. You see what I'm getting at here. And I'm not sure what Carnival's angle is here for raising the prices so drastically for villas and for cabanas. They've basically doubled in the past year, which is honestly kind of shocking. Now, in addition to the cabana prices going up, the beach villa is really gonna hurt you in the pocketbook. The villa is a 2-story type of situation. It opens right up to the beach. It's situated down in a more private strip of sand. There's a 2nd-story sun deck, an air-conditioned little room inside that you can cool off with a fridge, a shower. There's a hot tub, all kinds of cool things. Well, this used to cost $600 at the outset of last year, but today that same cabana now rents for $1,000, more than the price of a 7-night balcony cruise on many of Carnival's ships. Just to put that into perspective, what they're charging, you're renting a piece of wood on the side of a beach with some drinks and a hot tub of water for more than the price of a 1-week cruise. Now, if you want to know who hasn't doubled their prices, well, it's me in my Midships Cruise Essentials store on Amazon. It's the #1 place to find the deals on the best items I recommend you never cruise without. If you want to know more about what's in that store, check out the Amazon link in the description down below. Thank you so much for considering checking it out. Let's get back into the cruise news. The National Hurricane Center is going to be doing things a little bit differently this year with their hurricane predictions, and it may actually have an impact on how cruise lines operate going forward during hurricane season. Now, the big change coming here this year is, first and foremost, the Hurricane Center is switching from a 2-day and a 5-day prediction window. This year, they'll proceed with a 2-day and a 7-day prediction window in the hopes of giving businesses and people a few extra days of advance notice to make preparations or clear out debris from areas that may be impacted by a tropical storm or a hurricane. And what this type of forecast is typically referred to is an invest. You may have heard the term before. I'm going to throw up a picture of one here on the screen. You can see there's an area in the ocean that's circled and crosshatched. That is what's considered an invest. And basically what that means is that this area that's circled and hatched is an area that they likely believe will develop tropical weather or see tropical weather or hurricane activity over the next 2 or 7 days, depending on the report that you're looking at. Now, in addition to this longer storm prediction lead time, the Hurricane Center will also implement what they call a peak storm surge graphic for this year. These highlighted areas along the coastline with predicted storm surge levels. You might have seen this on places like the Weather Channel or your local news. Well, this feature is now being officially rolled out for the 2023 hurricane season. And what this all means for cruises and their meteorology departments is they now have, like I said, more tools at their disposal to help keep their passengers and their vessels and their employees safe during these weather events. And they're going to be able to use these tools to deliver a more enjoyable cruise experience at the same time. Now that the lines are going to have a few more days of advance notice over what they normally would have of impending tropical weather, it gives them more time to adjust their itineraries. And one way I see cruise lines using this moving forward is we're hopefully, fingers crossed, not going to see 10 ships all descending on the Port of Nassau or Cozumel like we have in the past during hurricanes. With this 7-day window, it gives cruise lines a couple more days, a better opportunity to find other ports of call for their ships to go to, instead of just reaching out to that one giant port that they know is always safe and easy to get into. So I think that's going to be a huge improvement from what we've seen in years past. Now, looking ahead to the 2023 Atlantic hurricane season, they're predicting, well, a nearly identical year to what we had last year. About 8 named hurricanes like we had last year. Now, the one thing we have going for us right now, at least, the surface temperatures on the water out in the Atlantic, they're not quite as hot as they normally would be at this time of year. And what that means is it's going to be less likely to develop or to stir up tropical weather because the surface temperatures are colder. But hold up here, because it's predicted that later in this season, we're going to see higher than normal surface temperatures. And what that means is we're probably going to see yet another late hurricane season, just like we had last year. So all told, they're predicting between 4 to 8 major hurricane type events this year in the 2023 season. Hopefully this prediction is wildly inaccurate and way too overblown. If you want to stay up to date on all the latest cruise news as it relates to the weather, the hurricane season, or basically anything else that's going on in cruising, you might want to get subscribed here because hurricane season is now less than a month and a half away. It opens up in June, just in time to correlate, of course, with the Midships Group cruise. I'm feeling confident, though, that this one's going to go off without a hitch. If you're not familiar with that cruise yet, you can check out more information at the Facebook link in the description down below. If you made it this far into today's episode, please make sure you get subscribed with the bell notification turned on. One last thing before we check out today, don't forget to email me your cruise confessionals, your spicy, naughty, fun, or interesting cruise stories that have gone down on ships. Send them to podcast@midshipscruise.com. Thanks so much for stopping by the channel today, and until tomorrow, we'll see ya on the Midships. Yeah, I really can't do a whole lot of moving here. It was a crazy thing. If you've ever gone through surgery, let me know your experience of it. Boy, it's crazy just passing out and waking up and not knowing what happened to you. We'll see ya tomorrow.